All right, guys, we are going to talk about a little bit of running today. Just some tips and tricks that we like to use ourselves um, that also, kind of apply to the general population of people that run. And we are not professional runners in any way, shape, or form. So, yeah. Um, One little tip that I find that I think about the most when running is where my foot is striking. Typically, if I'm running in something like my Metcons or my Reeboks, I do feel like I have a heavier foot because it is a flat shoe. We do want to try to run in actual running shoes. I would not consider these as running shoes. They are cross-training shoes, but again, when I'm running, I'm typically trying to land with my forefoot. So middle of the foot to the ball and the toe. If we're running and we're heel striking, we are going to take a lot of tension into those shins, into the calves, into the knees, and that's where a lot of that knee pain does show up and those shin splints start to occur. So while we run, we want to try to focus on planting that foot in the middle of the foot and then rolling off on the toe. It's going to create less stress on the shins and knees. Another little tip is hands. Okay, you'll either see a lot of people run. They run, almost like they're death gripping something, or they run like they're chopping the air. Okay, if we're running for just distance, we don't need to be chopping air. We're not sprinters. We also don't need to be clenching our fists. We want to keep our hands somewhat relaxed. Something I learned a long time ago was to either take your fingers, take your index and your thumb and put them together, keep them relaxed and below the heart. That way blood is still pumping and we're not, doing anything up here. We don't need to be, those moms that wear the track suits that walk with their dumbbells, pumping them. Okay, keep your fingers nice and loose. You can even tap. Okay, if you can let your mind do this, by all means do it. It kind of helps keep your mind on something while you move. But again, let's try to strike with a midfoot on our feet and keep our hands below the heart and somewhat relaxed, but not death gripping or chop suey. Give it a try.
All right, guys, so I'm going just to build off of Kyle's 2 tips here. I think trying to keep it as simple as possible is important. So movements like burpees and running and some of these things that are body weight exercises, you may not put a whole lot of thought into, you just kind of do. But if we're going with a longer distance workout or a longer distance run like we have been, it's important that we maximize or optimize that energy that we're putting into it. So, and for me, it's a learning process just because my background's always been like fast twitch, sprinting stuff. So trying to run longer distances has been a challenge, not only just aerobically, but getting the technique down as well. And so there is a lot more technique than you may think. And so with he talked about keeping the hands nice and relaxed below the chest. Relieving tension throughout the body is key. So even having the face relaxed, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Try not so much to where we're really rotating as we run, but just leaving everything nice and simple to where we can focus on what's going down below with our feet striking the ground. And then we're at kind of the angle of the body as we're going through that. So we want, as we go through each foot strike, as if we're making a mid-foot strike, we want it to be directly below the hips. We don't want to be reaching out in front because it's almost stopping you every time you run. And so that doesn't mean we stay perfectly tall or vertical as we run. We don't want to run super tall. We still want a good forward lean. But when you look at it, kind of give you a little angle with the PVC pipe. We're not here. We never should be here, but we should have somewhat of a forward lean as we run. Shoulders are kind of out in front. And then as we pick those knees up, I'm not thinking about reaching out, grabbing the floor and pulling. I'm thinking about picking my knees up and striking that ground below my hips with each one. Not with a whole lot of force, because again, we want to stay relaxed as we go through our running. So control the breathing, stay relaxed within your runs, and then think about how your feet are striking the ground and where they're striking the ground. And then if you start to pick up on those things and get a little bit better and better, I promise you those runs will get easier.